Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video from the Purple Penny. My name's Mark. I own and run the Purple Penny along with my wife Catherine. We do these videos at about this time every Wednesday, which is 12 PM Adelaide time. We've been doing the videos for about 6 years. So the Purple Penny itself is a small family owned and run coin and banknote business. We're in a suburb called Mawson Lakes, which is about 10 minutes drive from the north of Adelaide. We buy and sell coins, banknotes and the odd collectible through our shop here at Mawson Lakes, which is open Wednesday to Saturday, and also via our website thepurplepenny.com. These videos we try to do a quick rundown of what's been going on in the world with a focus on Australia with coins and banknotes, and every week we try to have a bit of a topic of the week. This week we're looking at an interesting US coin which has come up because I watched a YouTube video this week, and you know what I think about watching YouTube videos, but this one wasn't bad. It's from a coin dealer in the USA who I quite like what he's got to say about things. Before we get started, we'll just say a few hellos. Hello Gwen, hello Damien, hello Coinstruck who is in South Korea, Kevin, hello Peter, hello Ian, and hello Ray. Thank you for joining in. And let's just dive into the news. We've got a coin show coming up here in Adelaide in just under 2 weeks' time. Saturday and Sunday, the 4th of October, at the Torrens Parade Grounds in the city. If you're wondering what the address of the Torrens Parade Grounds is, it's the corner of King William Road and Victoria Drive, diagonally opposite Adelaide Oval. Open from 10 till 5 on Saturday the 4th of October and 10 till 4 on Sunday the 5th of October. Admission is $5, parking on site is $10. There is street parking along Victoria Drive which is metered. If you don't want to pay for parking, you can probably park on the other side of the Torrens. There's usually free parking available over there. There is a Facebook page for the Coin and Banknote Expo. If you want to go and follow that, and all the latest news and information about the expo will be going up there. The Royal Australian Mint will not be attending, and it's not that they won't be attending just the Adelaide Coin and Banknote Expo. They won't be attending any shows in Australia this year as far as we know. So that's the expo. Now the follow on from the expo is that we're going to have some special opening hours around the expo, and you can just see those there. So the day before the expo, Friday the 3rd of October, we'll be opening an hour early and closing at 12 PM so that we can get all of our stuff packed up ready for the expo the next morning. And the next day, Saturday the 4th of October, we will be closed. We won't have our usual tables at the expo this year. We'll be up against the back wall rather than right by the entrance as you go in. So we're both looking forward to the expo. We've spent a fair bit of time last week pricing things up, getting things ready. Jared's been helping us out, which has been fantastic. So thank you to Jared for helping us out with those things. A few more hellos before we continue. Hello Bevan, good to see you watching, mate. Hello Stuart, Tony, Catherine who's watching, JJ and Patrick. Thank you everyone for joining in. There is a new release coming up from Australia Post this week. Big Things 2. 10 different coins available on a card. Big Merino, Big Golden Guitar, Big Penguin, Big Galah, Big Rocking Horse, Big Wheelbarrow, Big Prawn, Big Strawberry, Big Barramundi and Big Mango. So lots of big things. All of those 10 coins will be available on a card for $4 each. As usual, there will be a tube and folder product being released. 10 coin tube and a folder for $34. 1 in 10 of the tubes will contain a coloured big strawberry coin. There's a 2 coin proof set, aluminium bronze proof set, which is $70. The designs of those 2 coins is not the same as the coins that are in the tube, and it appears that there's going to be 2 different coins available through the till, because there's actually 2 extra spots in the folders for those 2 till based coins. We don't exactly know what those till based coins are, but it's likely there'll be UNC versions of the proof coins, and you can see what those proof coins look like there on the picture there, which I've lifted from the Rams website. Because this is an Australia Post release, there'll be PNCs obviously, and they're doing a special boxed PNC set, and 1 in 10 of those will contain a coloured strawberry coin on the PNC. We'll be getting limited numbers of the coins and albums, coin tubes and albums here in the shop. Won't be mailing them out, they'll just be available over the counter. We won't be getting the PNC, so that's due for release this Wednesday. Another collectible coin set from the post office. Next item on the news is a follow-up to a story that we had about a month ago. The finest known circulation strike 1930 penny has just sold at auction. Had an estimate of 120 to 140,000. Turns out that it sold exactly in the middle of that estimate. It sold for 130,000, and once you add premium of 22% onto that, if you're wondering what the premium is what the auction house charges anyone who buys from them. It's called the buyer's premium. That added another $28,600 onto that particular 1930 penny. I didn't buy it. Catherine didn't buy it unless she has a secret bank account that I can't see. Did anyone who's watching today buy it? If they did, congratulations on buying the finest known circulation strike 1930 penny. So there you go. Congratulations to IAG for selling that coin. Next item on the news. We have a bit of a local story here to South Australia. There's been, for about the last month, fake $50 and $100 notes circulating in the mid-north of South Australia. The mid-north of South Australia is an area that's about 50 kilometres north of Adelaide to about 250 kilometres north of Adelaide, and on the Yorke Peninsula. And the Yorke Peninsula is the boot-shaped peninsula to the left of Adelaide. If you look on the map, there is a peninsula over there. So there's been a bunch of 50s and 100s circulating up around there. And police are urging any businesses and anyone who's carrying out large cash transactions to spend some extra time checking their notes before accepting them. And if you happen to take a fake note, then to store it safely and be prepared to provide a description of the person who passed the note to, as well as any security footage. Now, this was on Facebook. Thank you to Gary for supplying me with this link on Facebook. It was interesting reading some of the comments on Facebook about it, with a lot of people suggesting that if they took one of these fake 50s or fake 100s, they wouldn't pass it on. Because, of course, if you do hand it into the police, you're going to be out of pocket for that. They're not going to replace it with a real one. So it is up to you, I guess, to make sure if you're handling a lot of cash, to check the fake notes for authenticity. A lot of the fakes are paper, very poor quality paper. So obviously Australian $50 notes are polymer, they're not paper, so that's an obvious thing. And the new generation notes, at least they fluoresce under UV light, whereas these ones look like they're old generation notes, which don't have that. You'd also want to examine the security window on them, because often if the notes are made out of paper, that security window will either be printed out of white paper and not transparent, or there'll be a piece of plastic glued onto the note. So if you are in that area, do take care and make sure to inspect your notes properly before you take them. Next item in the news, and I hesitate to call this news. It's been a while since we've had a go at a crap news story, but there was a crap news story that appeared in the last couple of days. We've got a journalist at Yahoo Finance who's been watching TikTok videos of a gentleman whose stuff I may have commented on a few times before, and I don't know whether the hodgepodge of incorrect information in the article has come from the YouTube video or from the journalist who has misinterpreted everything, but it's one of these hyped up articles about a coin that you can supposedly find in change, and in this particular case he's picked on a 2021 Great Aussie Coin Hunt Coloured G, Great Barrier Reef dollar coin. Now, of course, they were available on PNCs or in 1 and 10 of the tube sets. They were never released into circulation, which it does suggest in the article. The only way they could have got into circulation is if someone stole this or spent one out of a collection. So that's mistake number one. They weren't also available only via the tubes, they were also available via PNCs, so that's mistake number two. In one part of the article it suggests that there were 225,000 of these coloured coins produced, whereas in reality there were 17,500, so that's mistake number three. And mistake number four is that the journalist contradicts himself further down the article, saying that there were 14,500 of the coloured coin minted, whereas in reality it was 17,500, so that's mistake number four. Don't believe what you read about coin values in articles on major media websites, because they are usually wrong and usually full of information that has been just stolen from somewhere else, and they have no idea whether the information that they stole is correct or not. If you want a valuation of coins, then you can usually just bring things in here and we'll give you an idea of real commercial value of things. Yeah, it's always disappointing to see these articles with such terrible information in them. David is experiencing patchy sound. If anyone else is experiencing that, can they just let me know? Everything at my end seems to be working okay, but you know the troubles that I have with the technology here sometimes. Now, I don't encourage you to watch certain videos on YouTube, but there are some good content producers for coin related stuff on YouTube, and interestingly these videos end up on YouTube eventually. There is a dealer in America that runs a YouTube channel called Coin Help You, and he does little videos once or twice a week or once or twice a month on topics that interest him. Obviously they're usually American focused topics, being a US coin dealer, the same way that this channel primarily focuses on Australian stuff, and I've learnt a lot from his channel. I'd like to meet him one day. He seems like a genuinely nice guy. But there was a video that came up this week about a particular coin. It's a 1922 peace dollar. Peace dollars were minted from 1922 to the early 1930s, I believe. I'm no expert on peace dollars. But there was one particular coin minted in 1922. It's called a high relief proof coin. There were very few of them minted, and they're worth many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, $200,000. The American coin market is much bigger than ours, and obviously a low mintage coin that might only have a couple of thousand minted is in much demand in America and generates much higher prices than what it would generate here in Australia. The story that Coin Help You told about one particular 1922 high relief proof dollar, which was discovered in 2023, was it was found in a collection sent to PCGS where it was auctioned. So I thought what I'd do is I'll just share you some pictures of that particular high relief proof dollar. So this particular coin has been auctioned on Heritage Auctions twice. Heritage Auctions is probably the biggest auction house in the USA, and is a great source of pricing information for American coins and world coins and banknotes, and is certainly the site of choice for high-end American coins, online site of choice. So here's the pictures from both times that it was sold. Now I would just encourage you to ignore the fact that one picture is lighter than the other and slightly darker on the other one. taking coin pictures is can be quite difficult, and the difference in colour could just simply be due to some exposure on the camera. It could have been taken with 150th second exposure instead of 175th or something like that, so that could just be the reason. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. So just firstly want to prove that these two coins are the same. So what I've done there is I've blown up two areas on the coin, on both coins there. So at the bottom left there you can see a patch of toning around the R of Liberty, and you can see that the toning on both of those coins is obviously the same. Again, please just ignore the fact that one is slightly lighter than the other. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. And then on the bottom right hand side there, I've zoomed in on a very light scratch on the coin, which is just below the hair that's coming out the back of Liberty's neck there. You can see that's the same scratch there. Sorry, just struggling with the mouse pad here. Next picture is of the reverse, and again, just ignore the fact that one is lighter than the other one. So there's a couple of little spots on the coin just above the eagle's back, and I've zoomed in on those on the bottom left hand side there. You can see that those are obviously the same spots. And then there's a bag mark on the O of dollar, and you can see that bag mark is the same on both images. So we've got two auctions, and they're obviously the same coin. There's toning and mechanical marks on the coins which make them identical. So I think we can see that fairly clearly. And there's both instances of the same coin. On the left there, we've got it in a PCGS slab where it's graded as PCGS PR Genuine, Altered Surf Unk Details, Matte Finish High Relief. And on the right there, it's graded PCGS PR 63, Matte Finish High Relief. And it's got a green CAC sticker on it there, which is another company that looks at already graded coins. And the coin in the details slab sold on the 9th of February 2023 for $144,000 US, which is a heck of a lot of money. And the same coin in the different slab sold just over 2 years later, just a couple of months ago, for $192,000 US. So $48,000 difference in price there for what appears to be the same coin. It is the same coin. I don't think there's any doubt that it is the same coin. How can this be the case? How can this be the case? Now, I was a little bit hesitant about talking about this because while PCGS aren't perfect, and they're not perfect and they do make mistakes, they are the best game in town with regards to third-person grading. And I was really struggling to think about how this could have happened. And certainly Coin Help You in the video, he suggested he couldn't understand how it could happen either. So what I've done is just checked that the coins, that both certificates are current on the PCGS website, and they are. So there's the two certificates there. So the same coin is listed on the PCGS website with two certificates. The top certificate there is in the PR details slab, and the bottom certificate is in the PR 63 slab. And this is why I was suggesting to you that you should ignore the fact that one coin was lighter and darker on the heritage images, because here on the PCGS images you can see that the colour of the coins is different again. And in this case the PR 63 example is slightly lighter than the details example. Just shows you that different exposures and things like that can affect what a coin looks like in a picture. Now again, how can this happen? And the answer is, if we look at what altered surfaces actually means. And what I've done here is I've gone to the PCGS grading standards which are available on their website. And code 94, altered surfaces. This no grade covers anything added to the surface of the coin, either to improve its appearance or to cover marks. Surface alteration methods include adding dental wax, putty, lacquer, and nose grease. Thumbing is the application of a putty-like material to fill in marks, scratches, and other defects, to haze over portions of the coin. Coatings such as lacquer, while intended to protect coins, result in no grade because it is impossible to determine the quality of the underlying surfaces. So that's what altered surfaces means, and I'm sure that you'll agree with me when I've read that out to you, that whatever is applied to a coin to achieve that altered surfaces designation is unlikely to alter the surfaces of the coin permanently. Peter, nose grease. Yeah, nose grease is a thing, and it's basically rubbing the side of your nose there where your oil glands secrete oil, and rubbing it over the surface of the coin. It is definitely a thing. It's a thing. Now, if we look at code 94, which is damage, this is PCGS's code 94, which is damage. Any form of metal movement, either intentional or accidental. Damage may include excessive or heavy rim dings and bruises, deliberate surface damage such as graffiti, attempts to remove spots, the severity and extent of the damage, or affects whether it will get a no-grade designation. So damage is quite different. Damage affects the surface of the coin permanently. And there are some items down the list there that PCGS calls damage. There's a couple of interesting ones there. One of them is surfaces tooled, major metal movement, whizzing, lasering, and tooling. And that could also include application of frosting to a coin, for example. And spots removed, leaving some form of damage that is evident. So, what does this mean? It means that this coin could have had some sort of substance applied to the surface inadvertently or deliberately by the first person who submitted this coin to sale, or it may have already been on the surface of the coin when they submitted it to PCGS for grading, and the person who has bought it from Heritage the first time round has examined the coin closely, perhaps prior to the auction or afterwards, and realised that there was some substance on the coin, and they've sent it back to PCGS for conservation, which is, if PCGS is able to, will remove any foreign substances from the surface of the coin. They've had it regraded as a PR63, and it is then sold for $48,000 more. So, in my opinion, while I'm no expert on this coin, I know nothing about high relief piece dollars, the designation of the altered surfaces the first time round is an indication that the coin may have had foreign substances on the surface of the coin, which could then be removed and result in the coin receiving a numerical grade the second time round. It is very possible that PCGS hasn't done anything wrong here, and that the person who submitted the coin the first time should have resubmitted it for conservation, and they would have got their numerical grade. It does happen. It absolutely does happen. Catherine and I have submitted a coin with altered surfaces to NGC for conservation. It was a proof Indian half rupee that was lacquered. Lacquering was often applied to coins to help protect them, but it will result in a no grade from PCGS and NGC. And in this case, perhaps this high relief dollar had some substance applied to the surface, which was then removed. So interesting thing there. It's always tempting to start blaming the grading service first, that they've done something wrong. But if we do think about it, there is a quite plausible explanation for what's going on here, and there's a good chance that PCGS haven't done anything wrong, and that perhaps the person who submitted the coin first time round didn't do their due diligence. Right, that's it for this week. Next week is, let me think, the 29th is the last video of the month. and that means question and answer day. So if anyone has any questions or answers they'd like me to address, then I'm more than happy to do so. You remember last week we talked about the three-legged roo. Someone asked me about that. It was an interesting topic. I do have one question already. Someone wants me to talk about wave gap 20-cent pieces from 2008. If anyone has any other questions I'd like me to address, please send us an email, Facebook message, give us a call, whatever it happens to be, and I'll address that next week. And if you want to put me on my toes, then please feel free to ask them live next week. I'm happy to do my best to try and answer questions live. I mean, what's the worst can happen? I could just say I don't know. Now let's have a few questions here. Coinstruck says, in reply to the 1921 commented above, yes, there was a high relief minted in 1922, but due to production issues, most were melted and only about 12 survived. Thank you for that. Ty says, 1921 were not classed as circulated coins, whereas 1922 was the first circulated coins. I just Googled it. Thanks for replying the info. Mark Heath says, I've had some coins returned with environmental damage and I've often thought about taking them out of the slab and resubmitting them to see what the outcome will be. Interesting thought, Mark. I don't know where PCGS's technology is at the moment, but I know several years ago they did have some sort of optical recognition system to prevent the same coins from being resubmitted over and over in an attempt to get different results. The other issue is that sometimes grading standards do change as time goes by. PCGS do evolve, as do NGC, and what they used to consider damage may well be acceptable these days. I guess it's just worth evaluating the coin and perhaps having a chat to Eric at Drake Sterling or whoever does the submissions up at Roxbury's and just seeing what they think, because they'd have more experience about submitting coins recently than most coin dealers. Gwen says, thank you very much, no worries. Patrick says he was going to buy the 1930 penny, but he needs 2 of them. Patrick comes in here quite often and he needs 2 of everything. Yeah, Patrick, I don't have $260,000 laying around either. David says, I had some sound issues at first and I missed your comment on the new owner of the recently auctioned 1930 penny. Well, David, it sold for $130,000 plus $28,000 commission plus change. That's what it sold for. I don't know who the new owner is. It's not me. And if it's anyone that's watching this video, then they're keeping quiet about it. That's it for this week. All right, everyone. Bye for now. Happy collecting. Stay safe, and we'll see you the same time next week. Bye for now.